This is Science and Conservation in the Clayoquot Biosphere region. The following are a series of interviews so that you can learn more about local scientists and their projects.
There's a long history of scientists coming into Indigenous communities, and kind of the way I think of it is doing research on them, not with them. And so we're kind of focused on doing research with Indigenous communities.
Hello, my name is James. I'm 14 years old and going into grade 9 at Clayoquot Secondary School. Today we're going to meet Colton from Ha'oom Fisheries. Hey Colton.
Hi, happy to be here.
Can you tell me a bit of what you're studying?
For sure. So I'm out here for the summer doing a project as part of my undergrad degree at UBC. And my project is largely focused on plankton in 4 different estuaries around Clayoquot Sound. So our concern with the plankton is in relation to salmon. Young salmon in these estuaries rely on some of these plankton to eat from. And so what I'm looking at is how many plankton there are and what types there are to see if these salmon have enough food or not while they're spending time in the estuaries.
What department are you from UBC?
So my research team is a part of the Institute for Oceans and Sciences at UBC. I'm specifically a part of the Center for Indigenous Fisheries.
What do you do in the Indigenous Fisheries?
So at the Center for Indigenous Fisheries, we do all sorts of different research. I mean, it's a pretty broad research interest. We're basically doing all sorts of things related to Indigenous people and fish. And we focus a lot on trying to bring Indigenous worldviews into our work.
What is the most important thing that you do in your job?
I'd say the most important thing is keeping track of all the different fish that we study and their population sizes and all of that. A lot of the fish that we rely on to eat, like salmon for example, haven't been doing too well. There's less and less of them, so I think a really valuable part of our job is making sure that we're keeping track of how many salmon there are, what is affecting them, so that we can hopefully try to bring more salmon back in the future. You know, these salmon are really culturally important to the nations that we represent, and they're important for our livelihood.
What kind of things do you measure, and how do you record the data of it?
Well, for my project specifically, so we're looking at plankton, the kind of things that we're measuring are in relation to the plankton themselves. We're looking at how many plankton there are and what different types of plankton there are. And so we're collecting them using a plankton net, which is a net that you drop in the water. The mesh is super fine, so the water goes through, but the plankton gets stuck. And then other things we're measuring are in relation to the water, like water temperature, how salty it is, how clear or murky it is.
What is the most favorite part of your job?
I'd say the favorite part of my job is definitely all the time I get to spend on the water. I feel really fortunate. You know, I think lots of people tend to pay money to go out on the water and stuff, and I'm getting the opportunity to earn money boating around all the time, doing all sorts of fun field work. So I think it's a pretty sweet job.
Yeah, I would love to work on the water, honestly. What inspired you to do what you're doing today?
I think the thing that inspired me most was camping trips when I was little at Miracle Beach on the east coast of the island. I remember lots of beach days where I was really obsessed with the crabs, and I'd go around the beach collecting crabs and sand dollars.
Do you think you'll ever work on crabs ever? Maybe.
Ha'oom does look at crabs as well, so I think that would be cool. I think crabs are really interesting creatures.
Yeah, I love them. They look so cool, even though some of them look like spiders, and I dislike spiders way too much.
I'm the same way. The kelp crabs look really spider-like, and they can creep me out sometimes.
Where do you see your career taking you in the future?
Well, I haven't quite decided for sure yet, but I do think I'd like to find my way out here again after I'm done my current project. So in whatever form that looks like, I think I would like to be doing research around here for a lot of my career. I'm from the Clayoquot First Nation that's around here, so it's a chance to be home while I'm working, and I really, really value that.
Thank you, Colton, for speaking with me today.
Thanks for having me.